Okay, frozen pot pie is launched upward at 19.4 meters per second, lands at the same elevation from which it's launched. That's crazy. To what height does it rise before going back down again? What time does it take to reach the highest point? What time elapses between the release and the pie being, ooh, this is one of the tricky ones, 5.50 meters above the release point on the way down? These are the tricky ones, okay? So I think these guys will go together because these deal with from the ground to the highest point, and then the second part of it will be using this guy here, figuring out this guy. So let's go for it here. So this thing is launched upward at 19.4 meters per second. Right, and let's go from the ground to the top. Okay, the final velocity at the top is 0, because if it's not 0, it's not at the top. The acceleration is negative 9.81, and we want the time to get to the highest point and the highest what the highest point is. So S and T for this, right? I think you can find S with no T, right? So let's do this guy. V squared is U squared plus 2AS. So 0 squared is 19.4 squared plus 2 times negative 9.81 times OS. We don't know S. Okay, and then if we solve that for S, it ends up being 19.4 squared divided by 2 divided by 9.81. Let's see, 19.18. So with 3 sig figs, it's 19.2. All right, so that's one answer. And then to get the time, I think I would use, oops, I'm failing. There we go. I would use V equals U plus AT. Okay, so 0 equals 19.4 plus negative 9.81 times T, we don't know T. So basically it's 19.4 divided by 9.81. So that's 1.977 57 seconds. Now I'm looking at, oh, this is the right answer. There we go. Yeah, 1.98 seconds. Okay, so if we rounded this to this place, we'd say 1.98. So that works. Okay, I was looking at this one. I was like, uh-oh. Okay. So that's that one. Now what we're going to do is we are going to figure out this thing. I need to re-Suvat here. So I'm going to hit erase and we'll fill this in again for this stuff here, 5.5 above the release point. Okay. So the initial velocity is still 19.4. And gravity is still 9.81 negative, right? Okay, but now we're going to say that this guy is 5.50 meters. Now we want to find the time, and of course you can do this with the quadratic equation, but since we only want the time for it on its way down, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to solve for that using no t, slap a minus sign on there, and then use, I guess what, no s. Okay, I'll show you. Okay, so here we go. So first I want to get this velocity. It's going to go up, right, and then down. Okay. And we want to know, it's like here, it's at 5.5 meters, right? Now it goes up 19.2 meters, but we want to know when it's right there, okay? So let's use this guy. Let's go V squared is U squared plus 2AS. Okay, so V is equal to the square root of 19.4 squared plus 2 times negative 9.81 times S. S is 5.50. Okay. All right. And so if you look at this, 19.4 squared, right? This thing's going to actually take away from that. So the final velocity will be slower than that because it's at a higher elevation, right? Okay. So let's oh, what did I just do with my calculator? Let's go square root of 19.4 squared plus 2 times negative 9.81 times 5.5. And I get 16.38, that the absolute value of V, right? So V is positive 16.384 meters per second, or it could be negative 16.384, right? Meters per second. Now, of course, the positive one, the positive velocities is on the way up, right? Here it's moving upward, right? And then here it's actually moving downward. So the meaning of this negative one is that's our final velocity for on the way down, right? So this guy is negative 16.384, okay? And now we can find the time, right? I'll just use a simple equation for the time. V equals U plus AT. Oh, that's the phone. Okay, so the final velocity is negative 16.384. Okay, and then that equals 19.4 plus negative 9.81 times t, and we don't know t, right? So now we just have to solve for this guy, right? Hopefully it's not a regrettable message here. Boom. Okay, divided by 9.81, and I get 3.65 seconds, 3.6477 seconds, right? So that's where the 3.65 seconds comes from, like that, okay? Now you could do the quadratic equation, right? You could set up S equals UT plus 1/2 AT squared. This is gonna, if you solve this for, right, if you solve that for, right, plus 1/2. If you solve that for t, you're going to get two positive roots. The first positive root is the on the way up, the time it passes that on the way up. The second one is when it passes it on the way down.